All right, today we're diving into a simple but super powerful technique to basically hit the reset button on your brain, and it only takes 5 minutes. We're talking about the 5-minute brain reset and how you can find your very own restorative niche to get your focus back. But first, let me ask you something. Does your brain ever feel like it's just running on fumes? You know, like you've got 100 tabs open in your mind, but you just can't seem to close a single one? If that sounds even a little bit familiar, you are definitely in the right place. So where does this feeling come from? Well, it all starts with what we can call the overloaded brain. It's a direct result of our modern lives being constantly on, a state that's become, well, way too normal for a lot of us. I mean, just think about it. The constant storm of digital noise. Every single email ping, every social media alert, each one is like a tiny little paper cut to your attention span. It just pulls you away from what you're doing and makes real, deep focus feel almost impossible. And what's the result of all that? It's that feeling of mental fog. You know, that sense that you just can't think clearly, where your thoughts feel kind of sluggish, and it's a real struggle to just grab onto one clear idea. And all of this leads directly to something called decision fatigue. Every choice we make all day long, from something tiny like what to wear to the big, complex decisions at work, it just chips away at our mental energy. It's like a battery that's just draining and draining, leaving us completely depleted by the end of the day. So you can see how this constant overload shoves our brains into this chaotic, reactive state. We're not really in control, we're just trying to keep up. But the goal, the dream, is to shift over to a more intentional state, one that's calm, clear, and lets us be proactive, instead of just reacting to whatever pops up next. That's the rested brain we're aiming for. So how in the world do we make that shift? Well, the solution is way simpler than you might think. It's called a restorative niche. So what exactly is a restorative niche? Well, at its core, it's a brief, intentional break. And those two words are everything. Brief and intentional. This isn't about mindlessly scrolling on your phone for 20 minutes. Nope. This is a deliberate, short pause that's designed to actively reset your brain and bring your focus right back where you want it. And the real power of this whole idea is just how simple it is. It's meant to be done literally anywhere, anytime. It's short, so you can always fit it in. It's technology-free, which is so crucial for giving your brain an actual break. And by focusing on your senses, it grounds you right here in the present moment, pulling you away from all that mental clutter. Okay, let's get practical. We've covered the what and the why, so now let's walk through the how. Here is your super simple, step-by-step guide to doing your own 5-minute brain reset. And really, this is the key. It only takes 5 minutes. That is such a tiny fraction of your day. But the return you get on that investment, in terms of focus and clarity, is absolutely huge. The whole process is just 4 simple steps. First, you just acknowledge it. Notice that you're feeling scattered or overwhelmed. That's your cue. Second, you step away. Now, this doesn't have to be a big production. You can literally just close your eyes at your desk. Third, engage one single sense. For example, focus only on the feeling of warmth from your coffee mug, or maybe the quiet hum of your computer. And finally, you return to your task feeling way more refreshed. But hey, this isn't just about feeling good. There's real science behind why this works. When you intentionally disengage like this, you're actually giving the task-focused part of your brain a genuine chance to rest and recharge. You're letting another part of your brain, the part that's good at reflection and wandering, take over for a minute. And these little breaks directly fight back against all those problems we talked about earlier. They actually lower stress hormones like cortisol, which get all jacked up when we're constantly on. By giving that hardworking part of your brain a breather, you're not just resting, you're actually boosting your ability to solve problems and think creatively when you get back to it. This is your best defense against mental fatigue and burnout. So the real mission here is to reclaim your focus. And the best way to do that is to turn this simple practice from a one-time trick into a consistent, reliable habit that you can count on. And I love this quote because it just reframes the whole idea of taking a break perfectly. A 5-minute reset isn't an indulgence, it's a necessary investment in your focus and well-being. You gotta start thinking of it like strategic maintenance for your most important tool, your brain. So I'll leave you with this question. What's your restorative niche going to be? You know, maybe it's the smell of an old book, or the cool, smooth texture of a stone you keep in your pocket. Or maybe it's just focusing on the quiet rhythm of one deep breath. Find what works for you and start making those tiny investments in your own clarity.